that it's projected that AI will render almost 100 million jobs redundant.
Well, he's the expert.
Okay.
Also, as a techie, I think it's kind of the thing when he's
Good morning, tech activists and curious minds. Welcome to the Tech Insider, the show where we unplug the tech jargon and plug into real, relatable conversations that help you navigate the digital age. I'm your host, Stacey Wadera, and today we're tackling two hot button issues: cybersecurity and cloud computing. These aren't just buzzwords, they affect how we live, how we work, and protect ourselves online. Joining me are two brilliant minds: Alan Juma, a cybersecurity engineer who safeguards networks from the shadows, and Juma Amasi Melchizedek, a cloud engineer, ensuring your data in the cloud doesn't rain on your parade. Welcome to you both. Cybersecurity sounds scary and technical. What is it really, and why should the everyday person care?
Well, it's not technical, it's not scary, but it's important. We usually say that cybersecurity is for everybody. So, what is cybersecurity in very layman terms is basically trying to prevent unauthorized individuals from getting unauthorized access to any system. So, be it your phone, a website, any system that basically works on the internet. In other layman's terms, you're a watchman. Yes.
So, Juma, now how does cloud computing play into this? Many people hear the cloud and they think it's something that's quite far away and untouchable.
well, it's not something far and untouchable. Maybe to explain the cloud in layman's terms, it's simply as a business or as an organization, small organization, you will use the resources or the online resources of a big organization that has invested in the machine. Take for instance, you want to keep your data, you have lots of data, and you want to keep it somewhere in a server or something. But then you think of buying a server and it's expensive. But then there's a cheap option where perhaps Google or Microsoft already have those servers and they're not being utilized fully. And so there's they kind of they sell that space. It's like online or like online real estate, something like that, on layman's terms. So you move your data to Google and they keep it for you, although you still have control over your data and resources.
Okay, so now, Alan, Kenyans are spending more time online, paying bills, shopping, and even investing. What would you say are the most common threats?
Yeah, number one is passwords. We as human beings, we have a tendency not to want to have too many details to master. What do I mean? You want to have the same password across IG, across X, across FB, which other app do people use? You want easy life. So, and hackers know that. So, what happens is if I get unauthorized access to a certain system or certain software, where I will go first of all is what we call the database, and I look for the username and the password. Then I will try use the same username and passwords on other accounts. So, give you a particular example, LinkedIn was hacked a couple of years ago. And so what the hackers do is they get those details and they put them on a public forum. You go try the same password, the same username on different accounts. And chances are high that, Stacey, you have used your password in more than two applications, true or false. And I can even go further and try and guess what your password is. Maybe something to do with your name, the date you were born, or maybe something that is close to you, maybe your pet, maybe right now, maybe your boyfriend or whoever, something that is quite close. So if I have this enough information, I can actually get your whatever, your system. So that's number one, password reuse or quick passwords. The other thing is we have a tendency to, as Kenyans, we like kuchukulia vitu juju. We take things laissez-faire or easily. So you receive a link on social media, you want to click, you're inquisitive by nature, you're curious by nature. So that is one of the ways that us, not us, but people out there who want to take advantage of you or maybe get into your system. So passwords and also laissez-faire attitude, casual attitude towards cybersecurity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe, well, he's the expert, but also as a techie, I think it's kind of the thing when he says about passwords kind of stems from our digital footprint. It's very, very important. One of the ways also to safeguard your data or your accounts and anything literally is to ensure you have clean digital footprints. A digital footprint is simply your presence across online spaces. Because you find most of us, the reason he's saying he can literally try and guess your password, because if he goes and does a simple search across social media pages on Stacy, and as he searches on Stacy, he'll find you've had posts on your dad, perhaps your mom, their names, where they went to school, where you live, and such things. And so, oftentimes, we don't take time to think about these things, and we just post things, we say things, we give away our locations, and in doing so, we have hackers or people who are unethical hackers, let me call them unethical hackers, have a plethora of information they can use to actually exploit you. And so they actually, you see someone says, someone actually knows where you went to holiday, that you graduated here, which sometimes it's fine. But the point is, we must learn to be intentional about what data we are putting out about ourselves.
Okay. So now you bring about the question about social media. What about smartphones? Are they safe?
Ah, well, it depends on the user. It depends on the user. Are they safe? Nothing is safe. And let me qualify my statements. I can be in the middle of the ocean and still, if I have internet connectivity, my phone can get hacked. So not all systems, no, sorry, smartphones are not safe. It depends on how you actually protect yourself. So on your phone, do you have biometrics? I mean, can I just have access to your phone? Google has tried to help people who use Android, whereby you have to have a key. Sorry, you have to have a PIN, a password, or using your biometric, and also things like what applications are you installing. Again, Android people, we love what we call APKs. You know, I want to watch football, I don't want to pay the price. Well, go get an application from a friend of mine, download. So as you're downloading, you are downloading not only the application itself, but also other what we call embedded functionality. So as I'm watching football, it's exfiltrating or taking data away from my particular phone. It's capturing my keystrokes, capturing the websites I go to, so that they build a portfolio on who I am. Again, on iPhones, it's not as safe. People back in the days to say that iPhones are the best, but there have been cases whereby they have been cracked severally and they continue to be cracked. So phones are not safe, but it is you who actually apply additional security measures to try and safeguard yourself.
Let's talk affordability and access. Juma, are cloud solutions realistic for small businesses or students here in Kenya?
Uh, well, that's an interesting question.
Okay.
I would say at the moment, not so, although it depends, because let me say it depends. Because it really actually depends on the vendor you are using, what you want to use the cloud for, and such thing. Because the cloud has lots of capability. And for instance, as a student, for instance, I would maybe love to know what are you using it for, because you can't tell me you want to buy a whole uh maybe purchase part of the cloud to put your notes or something, unless maybe it's some sort of research or you want to host your apps. That's understandable. But for students, I would say there are other ways where you don't actually have to pay. You can, these big conglomerates, for instance, Google, Microsoft have Azure, their cloud. Google have GCP, and Amazon have AWS, and they offer free cloud certifications, and they offer free cloud versions for students mostly. Also, there's also one for DigitalOcean. The company for DigitalOcean should be, I'm not sure. Let me not say something I'm not sure, but it should be Alibaba if I'm not wrong. But they do offer free. If you're a student, you can prove, you can show your credentials as a student. They can actually give you sometime like a year. Like I have used them personally, so I do know they're
Okay.
there. You can log into maybe GitHub Campus Experts or GitHub Education. You will find all those resources there,
Okay.
and they're for free for students especially. For small businesses, I think there are versions. There are more local cloud services or cloud service providers who offer perhaps more affordable uh, resources. But also, something also about the cloud is that most of the clouds that you pay as you use, you pay for only what you use. Okay, so you pay at the end of
Okay.
the month. Like you use whatever you want to use. You will set certain rules, and at the end of the month, you pay for whatever you use. Okay, so of course it's not just freeway. You will say maybe this is what we project we will use by the end of the month. This is what maybe then they will give you a tentative amount of which you will pay if you use the resources you said you will use, and they also give alerts. They will say if you use 50% of the resources, they'll tell you use 50%. If you've used 80%, 80%, 90%, like that. So it's still, you can still use the major providers because they are kind of secure, they are kind of more established, but they are also local vendors. I won't vouch for any, but there are also local vendors who give good services. So yeah, it's kind of affordable depending. And again, I say it depends really on what you want to do, because oftentimes you find without proper planning, you will shift the cost from on-premise to the cloud. Okay. So you really need to look at the pros and cons of shifting to the cloud so that you don't just shift because people are shifting to the cloud. So you really look and you say, okay, if we shift to the cloud, then we'll maximize our profits than in it being on premise.
I see. Alan, do you have anything to add on to that?
Well, just like you said, it honestly depends on the need for cloud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's this back, like I think 5 years ago, there was a huge clarion call. Let's go on cloud. Cloud is the best. Cloud will solve your issues. But then again, you need to know your need, understand your needs. So again, I'll ask you, Stacey,
Mm-hmm.
how do you quantify a small business? Do I have 5 employees, 10 employees, 50 employees? Yeah, I'm asking it.
Okay.
What would be the metric to say these are small business?
Generally, something that's an institution doesn't have more than 10 people, or something that is self-run. So I would quantify that as a small business.
If that would be a small business, I would say they do not need to go cloud. The only cloud you need is email. Yeah, the only cloud you need is email. Unless you are doing something that is maybe a recurring activity that needs a bit of technical expertise and storage, then go on cloud. Otherwise, don't go cloud.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now, what would you say are the warning signs that someone has been hacked or compromised?
So it depends with the system. I know majority of the listeners are hugely, mainly on social media. So I'll talk about social media. Number one, you see posts that you do not know their origin. You just see, for example, you updated something, you know, a live stream or a live location from somewhere you're sure you're not there. A post that you can't really authenticate, and also you see all of a sudden you're not able to log in back to your system, to your social media. That is one sure way that you've been hacked on any system. If they on your phone or on your laptop, if there's an unusual slowness, you know, something that is not explicable. It's just maybe things are spiking here and there. You have little or no ability to, you know, bring down the slowness or fasten your machine. So those are some of the two sure ways you can actually know that you have been hacked.
Okay.
But let me say this, because this is my field, this is my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
People usually have that fallacy that I'll know when I'm hacked. I'll tell you for a fact.
Okay.
For organizations, can I just ask you, how long do you think it will take them to realize that there's an intruder in their network?
Mm-hmm. Like a month, 2?
Try 9 months.
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is just to know there's an intruder in their system,
Mm.
not to respond or kick them out. That's just to know. So if that can happen to organizations that spend millions of dollars or Kenya shillings on security, what about I, who mainly go to social media to create content? Yeah, but the methods I've given you, those should be good indicators. Slowness, unusual post, and you can't access your system.
I see. Juma, if someone's data is compromised, can the cloud help recover it?
It depends. That solely depend if you backed it in the cloud. Yes, that's, I think, the clause for that. And it will solely depend if you backed it in the cloud, really. So that if your data is compromised, maybe on your phone or on your laptop, on your device, on the server, wherever it may be. So if you backed it, then perhaps you would be able to, not perhaps, you will recover it actually. But now I think prevention is better than cure. Prevention is really better than cure. There's really no need for you to wait for your data to be compromised. Then you say, I'd back it. Says, okay, although it's good to back, it's part of a security strategy in case of anything that is unforeseen. But I think it's better to go the way Alan said. It's better to protect your data and to safeguard your data, your devices before they're actually compromised. Okay.
Okay. So let's demystify some buzzwords: VPNs, SAS, IAS. Mm-hmm. What are those?
VPN is virtual private network.
Mm-hmm.
Virtual private network is simply we say keep it layman. So it's like you see there's the internet, the whole internet. So the VPN is a software that allows you to have it builds like a personal, should I say a private, let's say a private network that allows you to surf the internet undetected,
Okay.
quote unquote, undetected in the sense that it does not show your location or who you are exactly. Although a caveat to that is that most VPNs are not exactly safe, or it's not that they cannot be detected unless maybe you are using an onion browser like Tor, Tor, it's Tor. Those ones are the ones that are harder to detect. But most VPNs that we download are just are just for the show of it. But they do work. I'm not saying they don't work. So, but they do work. Maybe Alan will give better view into that. Then IaaS and SaaS and PaaS, it's infrastructure. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. SaaS is software as a service. And there's another one called PaaS, platform as a service. Okay.
Okay.
Infrastructure as a service is the account used for the cloud. Infrastructure as a service is where, how will I keep it? I will say,
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure as a service is where, let's take a company, a big company that has resources. It has infrastructure, it has servers, it has all kinds of things. Okay, they have the physical servers, they have the physical resources. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
these kinds of infrastructure, then they virtualize them. Okay, so this infrastructure they sell them to smaller businesses who don't have the purchasing power. Okay, so let's say they have like 50 servers and they've utilized 25% or half, let's say 50% of the servers. Okay,
Okay.
so the rest of the servers are they're the infrastructure, and so they can say if you have a small business, you're a small conglomerate, and you need to store your data, you need to keep your data in a safe place, then you can approach them. So their infrastructure is then used like it's a service. It's provided as a service. That's literally what it means. Like they provide infrastructure as a service. Same thing for software as a service is where usually a company, mostly in the sense of cloud, is mostly, let me give you like examples.
Software as a service, if I may chime in, would be
Yes.
your email.
Yes,
Email is software as a
yes, email, software as a service. Like there are things that are built by larger companies, but they're given as services. Okay, and then I think those are the ones. Yeah, platform as a service is also something related to that, but this one, it's in the sense that the company provides a larger, not predefined for infrastructure. Most of them are kind of predefined, but platform is like it's bare. So you build on their platforms. I'm lacking the better word, on their platforms or the things that they provide, but you build your own thing on their platforms. So they give their platform as a service.
Mm-hmm. And for the younger listeners who want to explore tech careers, what would you say they should focus on? Alan?
What would they focus on? Number one, getting as much information as they can, and usable information, quality information, not just binge watching on movie and say I know how to hack, and claiming you're an expert in certain field. Actually getting the appropriate good skills. Things can actually differentiate you in the market, in the marketplace. If your listeners right now in campus doing any degree in maybe IT, I would advise them to actually partner that with certifications. Like Juma said, there are so many organizations that offer free certifications. They really beef up, number one, your experience and also your qualifications, and also try projects. Unfortunately, I also deal with young people. One thing that your generation does not like is doing things for free. People want to be paid, but you see, nobody will take a chance on you unless you have proved yourself. So how do you prove yourself? I need to go and do something, even if it's for free, so that I build my portfolio. I build my database of skills, and I come to you and tell you I can do A, B, C, D. These are my projects. Nobody paid me, but the money I will get after showing you my portfolio will be much more than if I had charged for this small project. So people don't like offering their service for free, but it's not free. It's investing forward.
Wow. I think I agree with what Alan says. I also don't love, at some point, I didn't love doing things because I was wondering why on earth would I learn a skill then count it. See. But I think I'd say there's a balance. There needs to be a balance to that. Maybe let me just begin. For campus students, for me, I would suggest, especially those who want to enter into tech career, any kind of, please be involved with tech community. There are lots of them around, lots of them, like GDG, that is Google Developer Groups Nairobi. There are DevOps Nairobi. There is Microsoft Learners. There are all kinds. There are all kinds of groups. For me, my tech journey began with this tech community and engineering groups. Okay, that's where my tech journey began. And so, I would also say, as he said, certification is also, they are very, very crucial. Like, keep on learning, keep on learning. I think the problem is oftentimes people begin with so much zeal, then at some point, they're like, "Ah, this thing is not, it's not like, either I'm not getting what these guys are teaching, or maybe I've learned this thing, but I'm not getting a job, I'm not getting this." And so they stop doing it. I think the trick is to keep on learning, keep on going, keep on going. At some point, things will just open up.
Okay.
And also, maybe at this point, I'd love to front also, I'm the CEO, the founder of a company called Ubunifu Village.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So Ubunifu Village, it's one of the primary things we deal with, apart from digital literacy, is also about nurturing talent, tech talent especially, and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of tend to build pathways. We call them pathways. Others call them modules, whatever you call them. We kind of tend to build pathways that are will most likely suit you as a person who is in tech. So I realized that in my journey of tech, I really kind of struggled a lot with finding my space, where, because tech is wide. Tech is it's wide. Even in cloud, they're like, it's just so wide. So I kind of found, and I thought, perhaps if we could make it easier for people, we create pathways whereby we are able to easily, the first thing you learn is, what are your natural inclinations? What are your natural passions? Your natural abilities? Do you perhaps have a knack for data? Do you perhaps have a thing for numbers? Do you perhaps have a thing for patterns? And do you perhaps have a thing for I don't know, pattern? Because these things, for instance, patterns, data, they kind of influence the things where you are good at. Okay. Do you have a thing for art, for instance? You will find that for someone who is maybe has a knack for data and patterns, like I am,
Mm-hmm.
I become very good at things that deal with analytics, that deals with business intelligence. And that's why I saw the cloud is easier for me. And things like databases, I'm also like really good at databases and cloud. Okay. And you'll find another person who also has an knack for pattern. Okay. Is also can find themselves in data, in places perhaps like security, in maybe blue teaming and things like that. You're able to track patterns. Okay. Maybe if you have an app for art or something, you might enter into UI UX, okay, because you're able to see colors and see patterns differently, okay. But I can't. It's not that I can't enter into UI UX, but I am not gifted in art. The way I see things, I'm more gifted in data than in art. So you see. So Ubunifu Village, and I'll give the website, but currently it's under maintenance. But if you reach out or another time, anyone who is interested can reach out. I'll give my email, wherever it will be. You can reach out and we'll work around it. So yeah.
Okay. Let's take a few rapid fire questions we got from our listeners on social media this week. So, question one, is it safe to use free public Wi Fi? Alan?
It depends on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Should I elaborate?
Sure.
If you're using public Wi-Fi, make sure you never log in into any system, any account, your bank, your social media. Never ever log in into any system while using public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi, go to YouTube, watch videos, and exit.
Okay.
Never make transactions also on public Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see. Question two, what happens if the cloud goes down? Will it go down? Can it go down?
Yes and no. because the cloud it works on technology called virtualization. Okay, so virtualization is basically it can be replicated on across different places, different across the world. So you can be here, but you are, let's say your cloud vendor has multiple sites where the cloud is hosted, where the actual servers are. You can be here, your data is hosted in London. There's another maybe data center in Australia, another data center in the US, different places. So saying that the cloud will go down in totality is something I can't really fathom unless maybe it's some sort of agentic attack, that is agentic AI, of which still I can't think about. I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around it, but not really, because if you are, there's something called resilience in the cloud. If the server that your data is hosted on goes down, it is immediately moved to a different space. So downtime is literally near zero. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see, I see. And final question, what's the best way to manage passwords?
Number one, use a secure password. Don't use your name. Don't use your ID. Don't use your mom's name. Don't use something that can get tied and can be touched to you. The what we call password managers. You can actually have one secure password and store all your passwords in that particular vault. So that's the best way. Yeah.
Yeah. An example is KeePass, password manager called KeePass.
So let's wrap this up with a lightning round. One myth you want to bust and one practical tip. Alan?
Hacking is easy. I've been hacked. You've heard that. My account has been hacked. Nah, nothing like that. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. Yeah. So it's not easy to hack.
Okay. One practical tip?
Practical tip is always be a skeptic on social media.
Okay, so always assume someone's watching.
Exactly. Actually, someone is always watching. Nobody will give you anything for free, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Sure.
I'm trying to think of a myth. Can't think of one right now. Maybe one practical tip would be people should learn to use AI, and there should be more digital literacy with the advancement of AI. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Because if we don't, it's going to be disastrous in a few years. Maybe not even a few years, but in some time, it's going to be really disastrous. So yeah.
Maybe to add on that, it's projected that AI will render almost 100 million jobs redundant, but also to create over 150 million jobs. So where will you lie?
Yeah.
Will you be of value? Will you be part of the 150 who are getting jobs, part of the 100 who are losing jobs?
Massive thanks to Alan Juma and Juma Amasai Melchizedek for demystifying the digital world. Whether you're a student, a business owner, or just someone trying to avoid getting hacked, you now have the tools to stay safe and smart. Missed part of the show? Find us on Tech Insider on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or follow us at Tech Insider KE. I'm Stacey, and this was Tech Insider, where we make tech make sense. See you next time.